Hi guys, let's talk about my video that I recently did on Vinted that I privated. Let's talk about why I privated it, where I went wrong, and the goal that I was actually trying to make with this video that I greatly missed on that I hope maybe you guys can listen to today and still take it away because it is vital information that still a lot of people don't even know is available right there at your fingertips. A lot of the reason people were saying this, and for right reason, was because I compared this to the Wayfair situation. And I also even did use the phrase, like, this is not a conspiracy. And so, yeah, looking back, like, I am so embarrassed and ashamed that I even used those phrases and brought that up without going into more detail and depth. And I just kind of sped through and kind of like built up this, momentum, this platform to the whole point that I was trying to make, which I'll get to in a second. And yeah, I am really ashamed of that because I 100% see how I 100% like if I was not, in my own brain, right, and understood my own intentions and stuff, if I was just somebody who was coming to my channel, and expecting a video on the Vinted situation that's like exactly this is exactly what's happening, to the fact of blah 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 the exact situation, I too would probably, like have listened to my video, not probably, I would have listened to my video and been like, "Oh my gosh, like I need to be like blowing up everybody's phone about this." And I'm embarrassed about that because that was not at all my intention. And I am genuinely, genuinely sorry for letting anyone down who I let down, for letting everyone down. Even if you feel like I didn't let you down, that is not even my own standard of quality of content. And I completely dropped the ball there. And I am genuinely, genuinely sorry. This is where I will do better is slowing down. I have a huge issue and I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me, where it's like I have these full and complete thoughts in my head. And then whenever it's like I actually go down and I can even take notes. Like if anybody has like any suggestions and stuff to like help me like stay on track of like my broader sense. But like it's like sometimes when I sit down to film a video, I'm like, yes, I covered everything. And then it won't be until like maybe I get some comments and I'm like, "Ah, I meant to say that. I meant to cover that. Or I should have gone into more detail about that." So I need to slow way down because my whole point and goal with that video was to highlight how we shouldn't, as a society, whenever we see things like this online, whether it's like, those TikTok AI baby videos, or like, you go to the account and it has like, the dog whistles and the coded messages in the bio itself saying, oh, go over to Telegram, Discord, here, trade, blah, blah, on, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Vinted. I've even seen creepy posts on Facebook Marketplace, like etc. We should never take these things at face value and just be like, that never happens on like the surface web. That's just a joke. It's just a troll, because that is not always the case, because there are a lot of us whose people who harmed us did use modes like that to be able to get away with the crimes that they got away with. But that was completely lost in the fact that I completely glossed over, and my tone, the way I was talking about it, like I can sit here and explain to you guys like my intentions and where my head was, but I always even tell myself that like your intentions don't matter when the impact was negative. And so, yeah, I just really need to slow down a lot. Like, I need to slow down way more. And clearly, I need to have better notes that help me keep more on track. And just remember that not everything needs to be so enunciated and expressed. I don't know. I'm like having a hard time trying to find my words here. I do feel ashamed, guys, but also like I'm not going to be one of those people who are like, I made a mistake. Meh. I did. I made a mistake. I'm a human being. I am a person. I'm not a brand. This is all me, myself, and I over here on this channel. And I can't grow and learn as a person unless I'm willing to sit and look in the mirror. And it's like every single time, like if I get criticism and stuff on a video, it's like I think anybody can, whether you're a YouTuber or not, like if it's something that you like said and like you felt confident in saying it, just like I was like confident enough to post it. When people, especially people that you like care about their opinion, when they're like, dude, that knee jerk reaction is to be like defensive and stuff. And like I have learned that like that defensive feeling is actually like a reminder to go sit with that actually. Like, why are you feeling so defensive? What is that? Like cognitive dissonance? Like, but yeah, it's still really embarrassing because like this is a huge like growth moment for me to be able to like sit and look back and be like, wow, I can see where I went wrong and I can see actually how I could have done better, but how I can do better in the future. Like, again, for instance, like when I said, like, this isn't a conspiracy, a lot of people in my comments were pointing out, like, how are you going to sit here and say with absolute certainty that every single one of these listings is real? And I remember I felt like so confused by that because I'm like, I never said that every single one of these listings is real. In fact, I said multiple times in the video that I'm not saying that even one or all of these listings are real, but what I am saying is that it's worth looking into because even if at least one of them is real, even if there is at least one child behind one of these postings, whether it's digital, we talked about this, if you know, that's not what this video is about, then it's worth looking into. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, like I feel like that's pretty clear. But then whenever I think back and I'm like, okay, yeah, I said this isn't a conspiracy in the context of when I was still only talking about Vinted, I'm like, wow, Danielle. Wow, because in reality, what I was trying to say is that so many times, especially like, with the YouTube videos that I do and, everything that I see every day, it's so often that I will see blatant groups on the surface web, be it a website, Facebook, sometimes Instagram, TikTok, a lot of times where they are using coded language, sometimes straight up in your face stuff. And people in the comments will be like, wow, everyone's so overreacting. This is clearly just a troll trying to get, what is it? Trying to get a rise out of you guys. And I'm like, it's yes, sometimes maybe, but a lot of times no, a lot of times no. And so like that's where I was coming at it from. But after like looking at the comments and re-listening to it, I was like, wow, like that honestly was crazy to hear. And I am genuinely so sorry because I feel like what I had to say, what I have to say really does matter, but it completely got lost in how grossly mishandled the presentation of the situation was. It was so quick. It was so just, I'm going to read this and react to it and remind people that, you never know if this could be real or not. And that was just not how that should have gone at all. And so I really, really am so sorry for that. So why did I private the video? Number one, I'm not proud of it. I 100% unintentionally, that's definitely not what I was trying to do. I 100% was spreading misinformation and fear mongering. I almost said fear baiting. I guess that works too. That was not my intention. And I don't want to keep a video like that out there that misrepresents a situation and also misrepresents what my goal and purpose of the video was, which is always, always, always to try to make people feel seen and also try to give people a tool to not feel so helpless in a world that makes you feel like there is nothing that you can do at all. And the other reason was just some really cruel and unnecessary, just mean comments regarding my experience and what happened to me. For instance, one that stuck with me the most, the gist of it was essentially saying, why would you create such a ridiculous story just to try to like give your video more credibility in regards to what I talked about with my stepdad and the website that I found and stuff, which is not true. That's not a made up story. And I'm also not the only person who has a story like that, which is why I thought my video would land so much differently. I thought my video would land in a way that would educate people that as ridiculous as everything that's going on right now sounds and, it is being proven to be a hoax, these things are not always hoaxes. And like I said, that's my fault that it flopped and that part did not hit. But I really wish that I had done better because I do think that that is a really important conversation because that is parts of not only my story, but so many other survivor stories that get so diminished or were just straight up not believed, whether it be not believed by people that we tell it to or even not even believed by the police. So these things don't even get investigated, even in people's personal lives, right? And whose fault is that? That's mine because I set myself up for failure in that. And I hope in the future I am able to create an awareness video that better brings justice to those kinds of things. So That's why I privated it. That was the goal of my video. I hope that this is all flowing good enough. And my biggest takeaway that I wanted everybody to leave that video with was knowing at least what you could do if you come across something online that you're like, no, like this definitely is like, and I'm not going to get into what all of those things could be. We can rub our brain cells together for this one, right? Like I've gone over a lot, like the things that we see on TikTok, the coded words, all of these other things. So I will actually have that same screen recording that I had in my video that I privated up at the end of this one that just shows you guys how you can actually make a cyber report to the FBI as well as NCMEC. And these screen recordings, I was using VINTED as an example because that video was going over the VINTED situation. No, I am not using any like real listing links in these screen recordings. Yeah, I just wanted you guys to be able to know that these things are things to be taken seriously. Like anytime you see something that's like makes you like, what? Don't automatically assume that it's a troll, right? Don't, jump to crazy conclusions and cause a big panic and uproar like I unintentionally did. But don't just jump to conclusions and say, that can't be true. Because whether that is something that you have experienced or not, or a reality that you have faced or not, it is and can be true. Not every time, but it is always something worth looking into because you don't know. So that's where this part of the video comes in, is what you can do besides just reporting it to like the social media platform, be it VINTED, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, Discord, Reddit, you name it. This is like, if you feel like it needs to go a step beyond, like beyond this, hopefully this screen recording can help you guys know how to do that. This is the screen you will be met with whenever you go to report by the FBI. Just go ahead and click agree on everything. And then you're going to click on crimes against children, exploitation of a minor, and you're going to start filling it out. It starts asking a lot of questions about the victim and the exact situation that's going on. But being that this is a social media problem, whether it be VINTED, Craigslist, eBay, Instagram, TikTok, etc., it doesn't matter. A lot of times you won't know a lot of information, so you have to be as honest but also detailed as possible. If you don't know the victim, etc., click unknown and then give your very best description as soon as it lets you type. Obviously, don't type in what I am because I'm just trying to give you guys an example of exactly how these reports work, but every single time you see one of these boxes, if you have a link, if you can provide a quotation with a link, add those to these boxes. As you can see here, I am adding a brief description of exactly what is going on, but once again, you need to be able to provide those links. You need to be able to provide a more detailed description down to literally exact quotations from the listing that you are talking about. And like what I'm showing here, it's not enough to just say, this is what I saw and this is how I feel. You need to be able to provide exact quotations and links to the exact content that you are reporting. Otherwise, think about it. Like if some random person just said, oh, I saw this really horrible random thing, how are you going to be able to go exactly to where that horrible random thing is? We have got to give them as much information as we have so that they can go directly to the source and investigate it as thoroughly as they possibly can. Even if the information feels redundant, even if the information feels not very important, quite literally to investigators, every little minute detail, timestamp, exact moment an item was listed, where that item was listed from, all of these things actually deeply matter in regards to investigation. So whenever you go to fill out this part of the form, again, use your best judgment. And I know that feels very scary to rely on your better judgment because you might feel like you're kind of lying, etc., but you're not. You are giving them as much information as you know. And no, you do not have to give them your information to be able to fill out these forms. And once you've got to this point, you can just go ahead and click submit tip and bam, your tip is submitted. Now here's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's tip line. As you can see, I had to turn my iPad to the side, just get to the tip line, and you might have that same struggle, so turn your phone or iPad to the side. And the same thing with the FBI, you want to fill out these forms to the best of your knowledge. If you do not know information, just say unknown or leave it blank. Do not make assumptions. Do not make up your own story or what you think happened in these parts of these forms. Whenever it gives you an opportunity to be able to share your thoughts and exactly what you saw as a witness, please do. But whenever it comes out to filling out actual factual information about reporting exactly what you saw, when, and where, do not make guesstimates. You need to answer to the best of your knowledge. Like, as you can see here, I was struggling with exactly what category to place this issue in, but no problem, because you can add additional things that you are reporting. So once again, as wrong as it feels, you have to use your better judgment when it comes to what exactly you are reporting. And then at the bottom, you can, say whether that child is in danger currently or not. And I clicked I don't know because I don't know. You go on to fill out as much as you can. So here I typed in the platform just a URL or location of the internet, because VINTED isn't necessarily a social media platform. Here you can see you can actually add multiple URLs right here. So if you have multiple accounts that you're reporting, or multiple listings or comments, messages, whatever platform, TikTok, Instagram, this is happening everywhere, right? Anything you're reporting, you want the URLs. And then here you're seeing that I'm listing a specific URL to evidence. Obviously, I'm just showing you guys exactly what would be posting. That's where you would post an exact listing or a URL to an exact message thread or account, etc. They even ask if this was found through Tor, as well as the company URL name of what you are reporting. I wanted to go back and show you guys that you can actually make multiple of these reports. Like, you don't just do one with links, you can add as many as you need to. And then you're just going to go through and you're going to review and submit after you decide if you want to be anonymous or not. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. I once again want to genuinely say I am sorry. I am sorry for letting you down. I am sorry for contributing in the spread of misinformation and the spread of panic. Honestly, that was not my goal, and I hope that you can see that that was not my goal, but I completely understand if you do not see how that was not my goal, or even if you do see that that was my goal, but you don't care and you don't want to be involved in this anymore. I totally understand. This has definitely been a really good reflecting moment for me to show me that where I am struggling in this is that I'm not slowing down. So I need to figure out how I can slow down and look at the more broad spectrum and talk about every part of the broad spectrum without feeling like I have to talk about each individual branch of the tree for 20 minutes and then getting bogged down. But then I skip over 10 branches to get to the top. You know what I'm saying? I need to figure out how to pace myself. Is that the right word? I don't know. But I appreciate you if you watched this far. And yeah, once again, I'm really sorry. I can only promise to do better, but I can never promise to be perfect. So thank you guys so much for watching. I keep saying that. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video.